we are going to write a linear equation in slope-intercept form. So when we write it in slope-intercept form, it's going to be in the template y equals mx plus b. Now what do all these pieces mean? We have to remember that m represents the slope. M equals the slope. And B represents the y-intercept. B is representative of the y-intercept. And when writing slope-intercept form, we have to fill in for those two pieces. So it'll be y equals a slope value times x plus or minus a y-intercept. So we're always going to fill in for the slope and the y-intercept. Our final equation will always have y equals some form of x plus or minus some value. All right. So now, however, there are still other variables left in this equation, in this template, which I'll call it, and that is x and y. And what does x and y represent? Well, x and y represents a point, a coordinate. More importantly, it's not only a point, but it's a solution. So what do I mean by solution? Meaning it's on the line. So it's a point that lies on this equation. And in order for you to be able to write an equation in slope-intercept form, you need you need two of these three. You can't find slope-intercept form. You can't write an equation in slope-intercept form with just one of them. You can't write it if you only have the slope. You can't write it if you only have the y-intercept. And you can't write it with just the point. You need two of these three. So you have to make sure that you have that information. So if we look at this first example, write an equation of a line that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 3. Do I have two of these three? I'm given the slope and the y-intercept. So yes, if I'm given two of these pieces of information, then I can write an equation in slope-intercept form. So we go back to our template. Our template is y equals mx plus b. They gave me the slope and the y-intercept. So now I'm going to rewrite this equation with that information. The slope is 2 and the y-intercept is 3. So this is a linear equation in slope-intercept form for an equation of a line that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 3. So that's my final answer. It's perfect. So if we look at number 1, that has a slope of 2 and a y-intercept of 5, that's going to be y equals 2x plus 5. So we plugged in for the slope and we plugged in for the y-intercept. So now I'd like you to take 2 seconds, take a minute, and I want you to do number 2, 3, and 4. So pause the video, write equations in slope-intercept form for an equation that has a slope of -3 and a y-intercept of 4. And then number 3 with a slope of -1/2 and a y-intercept of 7. And a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of 9. When you're ready, turn on the video. Restart the video. Good. Number 2 would be y equals -3x plus 4. Number 3 is going to be y equals -1/2 x plus 7. And number 4 is going to be y equals 2/3 x plus 9. So those are the three additional answers. All right, here they give us a slope of 4 and an x-intercept of 3. So this is a little interesting. So they give me the slope, but they gave me the x-intercept. So the x-intercept is not the y-intercept. However, we need to be able to see that the x-intercept is a point. It's a point on the line. It's where the line crosses the x-axis. So we can do it because we're given 2 of those 3, as long as we're given 2 of the 3. So we need to see the x-intercept as a point. So if we look at this, what is an x-intercept of, what is that coordinate? What is the coordinate for an x-intercept of 3? So remember, it crosses the x-axis at 3. So what is that coordinate? That coordinate is 3, 0. So here is our point. We have the slope and the point. We use our template, y equals mx plus b, and now we start filling in for information. So remember, with this point, our point is written x comma y. So when we fill in this template, do we know what y is? Yeah, remember this x and y represented a point, a solution. So that's what that y. So the y is going to be 0. M, which is a slope, is -4. X, which is the x value in the point that we have, which is 3. And then we're missing b, which is good because we're looking for our y-intercept. We're not looking for our y. Yeah, we're looking for our y-intercept. Sorry, I moved the screen and I was meaning to move it up. So let's simplify this equation. 0 equals -12 plus b. Let's isolate for b. Let's get rid of that -12 by adding 12 to both sides. You get 12 equals b. And this is my y-intercept. So my final answer is going to be y equals, what's the slope? The slope is -4. What's the y-intercept? 12. So we just found an equation for the line that has a slope of -4 and an x-intercept of 3. Let's try these. I want you to pause the video. I want you to try number 5 and number 6. When you're ready, unpause the video. Okay, so we have my template, y equals mx plus b. We know my x-intercept coordinate is going to be 4, 0. So 0 for y, 1/2 for the slope, 4 for the x, plus b. Simplify that equation. Subtract 2. -2 equals b. Now we have the slope and the y-intercept. So that's what the equation would look like. Let's look at number 6. Y equals mx plus b. The x-intercept is 3, 0. So 0 in for y. That was a bad equal sign. M is -1/3. X is 3 plus b. 0 equals -1 plus b. We're going to isolate the variable. We get 1 equals b. So what is my equation now? Y equals -1/3 x plus 1. That is the equation for that line with a slope of -1/3 and an x-intercept of 3. The next example that they give you is a point of -2, 5 and 4, 8. So you're given 2 points, -2, 5 and 4, 8. So remember, let's go back. We have to be given 3 things here. 2 of these 3 things. So we're given 2 points. So I know that I have a point. Is one of those points the y-intercept? -2, 5, 4, 8? No, neither on the y-axis. Can we find the slope? Ah, yes, we can find the slope. We're given 2 points. When we're given 2 points, we can calculate what the slope is. So the first thing we want to do is we want to find the slope of the line. So we're going to use the equation y sub 2 over y sub 1 divided by x sub 2 minus x sub 1. And remember, the 2 and the 1 talk about points. That's the y value in the second point. What's the y value in the second point? 8 minus the y value in the first point, which is 5, divided by the x value in the second point, which is 4, minus the x value in the first point, which is negative 2. Simplify that. 8 minus 5 is 3. 4 minus negative 2 makes positive 6. 4 minus negative 2 becomes 4 plus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. We cannot leave that fraction unsimplified. All fractions must be reduced to simplest form. So we found the slope of 1/2. Now we want to find the y-intercept. So because we're given a point and the slope. So we use our template, y equals mx plus b. We know my slope is 1/2. Now what point? Remember, we're going to fill in for x and y. We have 2 points. We have point 1 and point 2. It doesn't matter which point you plug in, whether you plug in x1, y1 or x2, y2. So when we plug in these x and y's, you just have to pick a point. I'm going to pick the first point just for simplicity reasons. So my y value in the first point is going to be 5 equals the slope, 1/2, times the x value, which is negative 2 plus 5. 5 equals negative 1 plus b. Let's isolate for b by adding 1 to both sides. 6 equals b. And now I found my y-intercept. So I have my slope, and now I have my y-intercept, and now I can write an equation for the line. Y equals 1/2, which is a slope, plus 6. And that is how we write an equation for a line that contains the points negative 2, 5 and 4, 8. This is a little bit different. I actually, let's do this. Let's not make it different. Let's make it correct. Let's take this and move it up there. All right, so we're given 2 points. Let's try number 17. Pause your video. Try with the point 0.719. And tell me what an equation in slope-intercept form is that contains those points. When you're ready, restart the video. So the first thing we have to do is find the slope. Let's find the slope. We have 2 points, 0.719, so we're going to take our y sub 2 minus our y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1, and you get 2 over 1 or 2. Now we have to, let's do find slope. Now we have to find the y-intercept. So we use the template. Let's use the first point. My y value is 7. My slope is 2. My x value is 0. I don't know what b is. 7 equals 0 plus b. 7 equals b. I have my y-intercept. So the equation for the line is going to be y equals 2x plus 7. So the line that contains the points 0.719 in slope-intercept form would be y equals 2x plus 7. Good. Now let's try this one. So what are the 2 things I'm given? Go back to that first page. Am I given the slope, the y-intercept, or a point? I need 2 of those 3. So I see clearly I've been given the slope and I've been given a point. So we do y equals mx plus b. We're given a point, so 1. The slope is 2. The x is -5 plus b. 1 equals -10 plus b. Let's add 10 to both sides. 11 equals b. And I can write my equation y equals 2x plus 11. So that's how I would do that when I'm given the slope and a point. Try number 8. Let's make sure that we get the same answers. So pause the video, try number 8, and when you're ready, we'll go over it and push play. All right, so a slope of 3 and a point of 4, 1. So y equals mx plus b. My y value is 1, my m is 3, my x value is 4. 1 equals 12 plus b. That's minus 12 minus 12. -11 equals b. Y equals 3x minus 11. There you have it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you in office hours. Thank you.